Imagine you're standing in a freezing room with a giant block of ice. Your goal? Melt it. You pick up a hammer and swing. Crack. Nothing. You swing again. Still nothing. You do this for hours until you're exhausted, but the ice hasn't dripped once. Most people treat their lives like this. They think if they don't see a massive puddle immediately, their effort is wasted. They want a flamethrower, a big change. When it doesn't happen in a week, they quit. But look closer. The temperature is rising. 30 degrees, 31, still nothing. But then it hits 32, the freezing point. Suddenly, the ice melts. It wasn't the last degree that did it, it was the accumulation of every degree that came before. This is the 1% rule. It's the law of compounding applied to your life. Today, I'll show you why your hard work isn't working yet, and the tiny shift that changes everything. 1. The math of the invisible, the 1% logic. We live in a world obsessed with the big win. We chase the viral video, the overnight business success, the 30-day body transformation. We've been conditioned to believe that big results require big actions. But math tells a different story. If you get 1% better at something every single day for 1 year, you don't end up 365% better. Because of compounding, you end up 37 times better. Yes, you heard well. Let me explain. Most people think 1% a day is like adding a penny to a jar. After 365 days, you just have 365 pennies. That's linear growth. But the 1% rule is different. It's like a snowball rolling down a mountain. On day 1, the snowball is tiny. On day 2, it picks up 1% more snow. On day 3, it picks up 1% of its new, larger size. By day 100, the snowball isn't just bigger, it's picking up more snow in a single rotation than it did in the entire first week combined. Conversely, if you get 1% worse every day, you don't just lose a little ground, you decline nearly to zero in a short time. For nearly 100 years, the British professional cycling team was the joke of the sporting world. They were so bad that one top bike manufacturer refused to even sell them bikes because they were afraid it would hurt their reputation. Then they hired Dave Brailsford. He didn't come in and demand a new 10-hour training regime. He didn't fire anyone. He looked for the aggregation of marginal gains. He improved the ergonomics of the bike seats by 1%. He searched for the pillow that gave the riders the best 1% improvement in sleep. He even taught the riders the best way to wash their hands to reduce the chance of catching a cold by 1%. To the outside world, these changes looked useless. They looked like busy work. But 5 years later, at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, British cycling won 60% of the gold medals available. 4 years later in London, they set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. But if the math is so powerful and the results so clear, why do most people fail to stick with it? Stop looking for the 180-degree overnight transformation. It doesn't exist. Look for the hundreds of 1% moves that everyone else is too busy to notice. 2. The plateau of latent potential. Why you quit. The reason the 1% rule is so hard to follow is because of something called the valley of disappointment. When you start a new habit, let's say reading 10 pages a day or doing 10 push-ups, you expect your progress to be a linear line. You think, if I do the work, I should see the result. But in the beginning, the 1% rule is invisible. You are doing the work, but you are still in the 31-degree room. You don't see the melt. This is where 94% of people quit. They say, I've been running for 2 weeks and I haven't lost a pound. This doesn't work. But the truth is, your work isn't wasted, it's being stored. Think of a bamboo tree. For the first 5 years, it doesn't grow an inch above the ground. You water it, you fertilize it, and you see nothing. But underground, it is building a massive, complex root system. Then, in the 6th year, it grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. Did the tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? No, it grew 90 feet in 5 years and 6 weeks. If you're struggling to build a good habit or break a bad one, it's not because you've lost your talent. It's because you haven't crossed the valley of disappointment yet. Your melt is coming. You just have to keep the room at 31 degrees. 3. Designing the system, the 1% takeaways. How do we actually apply this? Strategy is about building systems that make the 1% inevitable. The 2-minute rule. If you want to start a 1% habit, make it take less than 2 minutes. Don't read 50 books a year, read 1 page before bed. Don't run a marathon, just put on your running shoes. The goal is to master the art of showing up. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist. Once you show up, the 1% improvement becomes easy. Environment design. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely on willpower, which is a depleting resource. Put an apple on the counter and hide the chips in a high cupboard. Make the 1% better choice the path of least resistance. Habit stacking. The easiest way to add a 1% gain is to anchor it to something you already do. After I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 60 seconds. Before I open my laptop for the day, I will do 5 squats. These systems aren't just theory, they're the core of what James Clear calls atomic habits. The word atomic has 2 meanings. It means something incredibly small, but also the source of immense power. Like an atom, a 1% habit is the smallest unit in a larger system. 4. The identity shift, your true goal. The most important part of the 1% rule isn't the result, it's the identity. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single 1% action will transform your life. Doing 5 push-ups doesn't make you an athlete. Reading 1 page doesn't make you a scholar. But as you repeat these small actions, the votes start to add up. You start to provide evidence to yourself that you are a different person. The goal isn't to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal isn't to write a book, the goal is to become a writer. When you focus on the 1% gains, you stop obsessing over the finish line and start obsessing over the process. And once the process becomes your identity, the results become inevitable. 5. The calm advantage. In the beginning, I told you that strategy makes you calm. Here is why. The person who relies on the big win is always anxious. They're waiting for luck, for the perfect moment, for the breakthrough. They're playing a high-stakes game they can't control. But the person who follows the 1% rule is calm. They know that as long as they get that 1% today, the math of the universe is on their side. They don't need to predict the future because they're designing it 1 degree at a time. You don't need to change your whole life by tomorrow morning. You just need to find your 1% today. Write that 1 sentence, make that 1 call, take that 1 walk. And if you found value in this video, hit the like button. It's a 1% action that helps this channel more than you know. The ice is already starting to melt. You just have to stay in the room. You don't need a flamethrower. You just need to keep raising the temperature. And I'll see you in the next one.